Money is the #1 relationship wrecker, and whether you're planning to walk down the aisle or you're planning for retirement, communication is key, especially in this very uncertain economy. Kathleen Murphy is president of Fidelity's personal investing division and one of Fortune's magazine's 50 most powerful women in American business. Congratulations on that. And Kathleen, thank you so much for joining us today from Boston to help couples talk the talk and walk the walk. We're glad to have you with us.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, I know I'm not married, but I could certainly use this advice for when the day comes, and I know a lot of couples are dealing with this now. And Fidelity Investments recently completed the 2011 couples retirement study. So can you explain that study and what you found?
Yeah, so we wanted to focus on whether couples at or near retirement were prepared and having joint conversations about how they plan to live in retirement, particularly after the financial crisis of 2009. And frankly, the findings were both surprising and concerning. So less than half of couples at or near retirement have planned jointly for their retirement.
Less than half?
17%. Less than half.
Wow.
Yeah, and in addition, only 17% of spouses had complete confidence that the other spouse could manage the financial and investment issues if they needed to.
Wow, so they're actually both thinking that the other one can't handle what they can handle. And so that creates problems behind the scenes even. And I think what happens is there are a lot of mistakes that people make along the way. So what are the top 3 financial mistakes that you're seeing couples making right now?
Well, I think the top one by far is that they don't have conversations soon enough, and #1. Then they don't plan for their retirement early enough, and just like compound interest, you know, the compound effect of investing, if you start earlier, you're going to save so much more over time.
Right.
So they don't talk about it enough, they don't save enough, and then they don't have the right retirement plan in place to enjoy the retirement that they've worked so hard for.
And I guess in addition to that, what needs to happen is they need to start agreeing. Are you finding that couples are in agreement about the goals that they have ultimately for their retirement?
No, you know, that was another concerning result of the study. Over half of the couples we surveyed don't agree or haven't talked about when they plan to retire.
Oh, no.
2/3 don't agree on where they will live in retirement. And so, again, these basic fundamental questions that basically define how much you're going to enjoy retirement, couples have not had those conversations yet. And these are couples that are at or near retirement.
Wow. And I guess really the lesson to be learned, first of all, a lot of people getting married later in their lives. You know, it used to be people got married right out of college. Now people start their own lives and then they bring their lives together. And if they haven't planned in advance, or if they've planned something completely different from the other, then I guess that's how they end up in this bind as they start to get closer to that retirement age, right?
Absolutely. So a misalignment of goals is clearly a potential issue if you don't talk about the concept jointly. The other surprising survey result that we found was that wives, particularly of older couples, were not as informed and involved in the decision-making process as their husbands. In fact, when one spouse is the primary decision maker, only 3% of the time was it the wife. And that's also very concerning for obvious reasons, but in addition, women will live longer than men on average. In fact, there's 6 million more women over the age of 65 than men.
Oh my gosh.
And so women too often, too often women find themselves widowed, unfortunately, and without the knowledge to live in retirement by themselves. So really, we've got to make sure that these wives get educated, informed, and are prepared for unforeseen circumstances.
Definitely. I mean, are you finding that that's happening more because more men are the breadwinner of the family, or is it just as much of a concern and an issue when the woman is making money?
So, I think there's a broad range of issues in terms of why. With older couples, I think historically more men than women worked. We also have seen that men on average make more than women, so women make 70 cents on every dollar a man makes, so you're not saving as much. And women also, in general, again, there's lots of variations here, but in general, women tend to be more conservative investors.
Sure.
And so now the problem with conservative investing, if you're too conservative and you're a woman that, you retire at 60, on average, you'll live to 90 years old. And so you've got 30 more years to live in retirement, so you've got to make those investment decisions that you make last for 30 years on average.
Well, let me ask you for some solutions here, because now we kind of understand the problem a little better, but what can couples actually do to get back on the same page so that they can be better prepared when they get to this point?
So first of all, it's really important to have those foundational conversations about when do we want to retire, where do we want to live, do we want to work part-time in retirement. The reason to have those basic conversations is that sets the parameters for how much you'll need to live in retirement in terms of income and how much you plan to spend in retirement. So after you get those basics decided and you're aligned on those, then you need to turn to how do we want to develop a retirement plan in terms of the expenses we plan, our lifestyle, do we want to travel a lot, do we want to spend time with the kids, etc. And then working with an investment professional or on your own, you can develop a detailed retirement plan that provides you those insights in terms of what type of investments do I need to make and over what time period.
Good advice.
I will tell you that...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
I was going to say, Fidelity, you know, because we're the retirement leader in this country, we've taken this on as a, you know, an educational challenge for us. So we've made a variety of tools available on the website, a retirement checklist, a couples quiz that people can use to break the ice about these conversations.
That's good.
And we're also absolutely, and we're also making our investment professionals available free of charge for anyone that wants to have a consultation either over the phone or in person at one of our investor centers.
I love that you do that, because I think before people get to the engaged stage, it's a great thing to do is to take a quiz like that. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for allowing us some opportunity to get more involved, get on the same page with our partners, and be more financially stable as we get into retirement. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for more information, once again, you'll want to visit www.fidelity.com/couples VIEW point. That's viewpoint. So be sure to go log on. Do that with your partner. I think it's a wonderful idea.